Welcome back to another stream, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And back with the GVO show, people. Obviously joined by Alfie. Shout out for joining again.
What is up, people? How are we all doing?
And yeah, people, Alfie's link is in the title. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well, people. We're nearly on 650. And that's what I'll be happy with before the end of the year. We hit 500. That was the main goal before the end of the year. But we're trying to hit 1K as soon as possible. And at GVO Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you want to follow me as well. And yeah, this one's on a Tuesday because obviously West Ham played yesterday. And obviously I came back from the game. By the time I came back from the game, it was pretty much Tuesday anyway. So I needed to eat, get a match reaction done, and then boom. But they keep putting West Ham on Monday Night Football. A bit like next week as well. And Gary O'Neill kept his job. Despite it being El Sakiko, which is outstanding in itself. But we'll get onto everything in a minute. Big up to Hannah.
Not really surprising, but David Coote lost his.
Yeah, David Coote was the one that lost his job.
Yeah.
Man. Like, if he sniffed anything more, he'd be chilling with Maradona. Big up to Hannah. Congrats on the win, Mike. Shout out to Arsenal B for the point. Enjoy the stream. Obviously, yeah. Speaking of Arsenal, you guys faced your B team on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you drew. You dropped points again.
Mm-hmm.
Alfie, bro. You already knew. You already said you was out of the title race. But what did you make of that for the people that don't know your thoughts already?
Well, I went pretty hard pause on I went with my temper on my match review on Sunday. After the game, I was quite pissed off, quite dejected, quite upset with the way that we played. I've had a couple of days for it to sink in and for me to have a bit of a think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still pissed off. I'm still angry. I'm still dejected. I've still got the ump. But what else am I to expect as an Arsenal fan, Max? You tell me.
I don't know.
For the past 20 years, I've had to get used to being the bridesmaid, not the bride.
Mm. But what went wrong?
Well, for starters, why the fuck was Thomas Partey starting at right back?
I know you hate that. I know. As soon as I saw the lineup, I knew what you were thinking.
I'm not being funny. Timber plays so much better when he's on the right. Fair enough, he can play on that left-hand side, but he's so much better as a right back. Not only that, Timber's just come back from injury.
Mm.
I know he's not played a game in quite a while, but give him 60 minutes. Give him 60 minutes. Start him from the kickoff. Give him 60 minutes. You don't have to resort to playing a CDM at right back.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that fucking German beanpole. I swear to God. This cunt can't hit a barn door. We can't score in a fucking brothel. I've never met you, Lewis. And I've got a lot of respect for you because you know my G Wax. But you were right. You got lucky with that £65 million we sent your way.
Mm. Sure, Melon's happy as well. I guess it was like a 173. 173 is one of the local buses in our area. So yeah, it does move like a 173. But bro,
and Martinelli, man, this brother here. Honestly, I'm watching this piss poor Arsenal performance. Like I said, like only a couple of players actually performed to any decency.
Mm.
I feel sorry for Martin Odegaard, to be perfectly honest. He's just had a fucking kid this week. Then he's got to play with these bunch of bozos on a Sunday afternoon. And there's no real gravitas in playing on a Sunday afternoon if you're 2 o'clock kickoff. No one really gives a shit. You're just a build up to 4:30.
Yeah.
And you still play like crap.
Yeah.
I said in my match review, we did this last season. Fair enough, it was different circumstances and it was later on in the season when we did it. Liverpool dropped points against Crystal Palace last season. We had the chance to go and capitalise. What did we do? We lost against Villa. This season, Liverpool get their game against Everton postponed due to bad weather. We have a chance to capitalise, close the gap to 4 points. What did we go and do? We dropped 2 points at Craven Cottage. It's a fucking joke, mate.
As I said, as soon as I saw Thomas Partey at right back, I knew exactly what you were thinking. Because you said before, it scares you when he's at right back. You said it.
I fucking panic. I'm more scared than an OAP on a bus standing up going round the roundabout.
Speaking that Partey is an OAP as well. So it kind of does swing some roundabouts. Like, this is the thing. Like, I think you're right. There was only a couple of players that I thought were actually any decent. For me, Timber did well with his tackling in some parts. And I think Odegaard tried his best, but also Saka was the only one delivering anything of any sort of danger in open play, and there was no one.
Kivior was shite. Kivior was shite. This cunt. Honestly, I'm gonna throw that word a lot. I'm gonna throw that word around a lot because this cunt. Honestly, that fucked the opening goal. Have you seen how far he's pushed forward? He's pushed forward to the point where he's in the Fulham half.
Mm.
And all Tete's got to do is just put that ball in behind our back four, and Jimenez is through. And we've had problems with Jimenez before. No wonder David Luiz knocked the cunt out.
I fully understand now why Arsenal fans don't like Kivior, because you don't see him to even have an opinion on him as a neutral yet. Because I don't watch Arsenal every game, but when I watch Kivior, I just think he's just there, sort of thing. But now when I'm watching him starting in his actual position, oh my god, he is terrible. How are you getting outpaced by Jimenez? Jimenez is not pacey anymore. He was never really renowned for his pace, ever. He was known for his technical ability, linking up play. But he ran in behind. And I know people are blaming Saliba for not coming across quick enough, but the reason why Saliba's there in the first
I don't
place,
think Saliba's today. I don't think Saliba's to blame. Saliba's not to blame for that goal. The full blame lies with Kivior because he pushed up so far to the point where he's in the Fulham half. Saliba's the only centre back that's actually in our half. So what else can he do but track back and support and put on support for Kivior?
Mm.
He's been left in a vulnerable position. He can only do the best he can in that situation, which is why, unfortunately, we conceded.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for me, the reason why Saliba's there in the first place is because of Kivior. Like, he literally jumps in, Saliba has to cover for him. You can't expect him to run out all the way out of position to cover him for him when Kivior's put him there.
He's there to cover for this dopey twat's mistakes.
Yeah, because that's Gabriel. He doesn't have to do that.
I'd have more faith putting Neil from the in-betweeners at centre-back. He's got more common sense.
So, what is this life for you now?
Where does this lie? Well, obviously, we've got Monaco tomorrow, by the way, to anyone that's watching. My match preview will be out after the GVO show, so you guys can go watch that. Put it up on my community page, so all you got to do is just click on the link. But I've said we've got Monaco coming up, and I said in my match review on Sunday that I'm not even confident going into that game. I feel like it will be the same situation as the Shakhtar game, where you think, oh, it's a team that's like mediocre in Europe, we'll smash them easily, and then we make it a lot harder than it actually is.
Yeah.
But as for Everton, we'll make Everton look like fucking Crystal Palace. And when I say Crystal Palace, I'm talking about Crystal Palace under Tony Pulis. Back in 13-14, surviving the drop. That sort of Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace with Yannick Bolasie. Because not Crystal Palace of today, because
I know that name in a while.
Like,
I know that name in a while. Oh,
Yannick Bolasie?
He was a cracking player. He was brilliant.
Like, this is the thing with Arsenal, yeah? You called this out before this was all happening. I know you guys wanted a couple good games, but you've been saying that some of it wasn't convincing, and You already said you was out of the title race. So is it the same? Is it a case of the same problem over and over again? Because you guys could have won the game if Martinelli knew the offside rule.
See, the thing is, he's got pace. He doesn't need to push up that early. He's quick. He can easily get in behind Tete before he's offside. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to go forward that quick. What are you doing, you donut?
Oh well. Was you? Like, I'm assuming. Was you quite confident before the game? I know you guys don't usually do well against Fulham, and Fulham are good at organising their team. They stifled you. They defended really well. They didn't really attack that well, but they like on a counter or anything. But in terms of actual like organisation, I feel like that's been Arsenal's problem, just trying to unlock any sort of defence that's organised, and that's what happens. You guys get stifled in open play quite easily. Obviously, there's been all the jokes about the corners and stuff. Like, it's good to have that in your thing,
Yeah.
in your ammo. Like, you're
It's
good.
It's good to have it. It's good to have it in your repertoire, but it's not something you need to rely on if you want to compete at the top of the table. Like, you don't see teams like Liverpool relying on set pieces to score goals. They get at you with cut and thrust. They attack. They strike while the iron's hot. They pressure you.
Yeah.
And even though they've switched over managers now, they've switched from having Klopp for 9 years to Arne Slot coming in. You can't really see much that's changed.
Yeah.
He's kind of gone about his business, no problem. But with this team, and even Troops hit the nail on the head, we paid £750 million to play like Prime Stoke City.
Yeah.
The only difference is back in Prime Stoke City's day, they had a competent striker in Ricardo Fuller, who's got more attacking ability in his left toe than Kai Havertz has in his entire fucking body.
Kenwyne Jones is better than Kai Havertz.
Exactly, Kenwyne Jones. Fucking Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch can get a 25-yard body against Man City while they're challenging for the title. Can Kai Havertz do that? No, he can't.
You know, you guys are one like Rory Delap away from being a title challenging Stoke City. Because you guys have already got the red and white. You've already got the set pieces. You just need Rory Delap. Maybe you can buy his son and maybe teach him how to be like his dad. You need a striker. You need a striker. You're a Delap away. So just get his son's right there. The January window's coming up. But listen to the thing with Arsenal.
Speaking of the January window, have you seen the news that apparently Manchester United opens offers for Marcus Rashford in January?
We'll come on to that. We're still on your club, though. We're still on your club, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to divert because I'm sick of talking about my fucking club, man. This club's a fucking joke from top to bottom. We're gonna hire another player to be our sporting director, buy a bunch of fucking unknown players and expect them to turn out good. Play Ethan Waneri for about 10, 15 minutes when you feel like the game's done. It's a fucking joke. Fair enough. You don't want to stunt his growth too early and end up having another fucking Jack Wilshere situation where he's done by the age of 30. But I'm not being funny. If the kid's going to progress as a player, he wants to play. He wants to play. You can see it in him.
Yeah.
When he comes on for them 10, 15 minutes at the end of the game, he wants the ball to feet. He wants to create magic on the pitch. So give him that opportunity. It's like you said at the start of the season, I said it was going to be his breakout year. And you said to me, only if he plays. He needs to play.
Exactly. I think you
Otherwise, he's going to be. It's going to be another case. It's going to be another Joe Willock. It's going to be another Tuba Akpom. It's going to be another Serge Gnabry. I swear to God, if it is another Serge Gnabry and he goes on to go and be successful somewhere else, I'm done. Because that'll be another academy player that slipped through the net.
And I feel like when you were saying that to me at the start of the season, you were more thinking out hope because you know this manager more than I do. When does this guy give other people a chance outside of the players he already trusts?
He doesn't.
Like,
I feel like the only time he's going to start, he'll probably start against Crystal Palace.
In the cup.
In the cup, because it'll be a cup game. And we both know Arteta's thinking, shit, I didn't expect to be in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But
like, also,
Palace will get past them.
You should.
Yeah.
Like, Waneri needs playing time. You know when a player just breaks through they're a youngster, for example, they played a lot of youth football for a long time. When they're ready to play first team football, they have to, for their own development's sake, they have to be thrown into first team football. Not in terms of like they have to play 90 minutes week in, week out if they're in the Premier League, but they need some form of pathway. If they're in the Premier League, they need to be a squad player. If they're in the Championship, they need to play week in, week out. Like, unless you loan him out, like, you need to play him. He needs to be an option. We've seen as well, when push comes to shove, this guy's not an option when Erdegaard's not there. Because despite him coming on for the last 20 minutes every game, even when Erdegaard wasn't starting and he had an injury, you're playing Trossard and Marino and Havertz in a 10, and he was still coming on for the last 20 minutes. So this guy's not an option for Arteta. If I'm him, and I know his contract is being talked about as well, I wouldn't sign it. I wouldn't sign it as a player. Like, I'm looking at it like the same way Divine Mubamba was for us. Moyes promised him minutes. He didn't get the minutes, so he left. He has to leave. If he's not going to get the minutes and he doesn't see a pathway, for his own career, he has to leave. He needs first team minutes.
Couldn't agree more.
Like, you guys have, like, Erdegaard has just come back from injury. He felt a couple knocks in that game. You can already tell. He's been put back straight away. He got put back against Chelsea. Basically 90 minutes upon 90 minutes. He's going to play tomorrow. He's playing 3 weeks. He's going to play against Palace as well. He's going to play all these games. Like, you're throwing him straight in, but you have another number 10 option. You may have sold Vieira and Smith-Rowe, which you should have sold Smith-Rowe, really. But then again, Smith-Rowe would be getting Wanyeri minutes, at least. At best. He'll be getting Wanyeri minutes. He's like, no, I could just ball out at Fulham instead. I can get game time. I can get my career back on track.
I'm so glad he didn't score. I'm so glad he didn't score, honestly. But I said if he scored, I'd turn it off.
And that's the thing, Marco Silva knows how to manage minutes because he's not always giving him 90 minutes. Smith-Rowe hasn't been injured yet, and that's because Marco Silva doesn't play him all the time. It doesn't. When he starts him, sometimes he takes him off 60th minute because he trusted his other players to fill in, even though Smith-Rowe is one of their best players. Because that's what coaching is. That's what proper man management is. As for your manager, it's coming to a point where's your head at with the league now? Because if you don't think you're in a title race, what's your thoughts? Now, what are you trying to see?
Top 4 in a trophy. That's what I want. Is that what I'll get? Probably not, because we know how much Arteta likes to bin off trophies.
What about the Champions League? Like in terms of the league phase, yeah? Can you confirm top 8 tomorrow?
If we win, I hope we can. It looks like it's on the cards. Obviously, we've still got Girona and who else was it?
I don't know.
I know we've got 2 more games. I know one of them is Girona. Can't remember the other one. I might have to get back to you on that. But I feel like, yes, like I just said, we'll probably beat Monaco tomorrow because they've got 1 or 2 players, but they've still not got enough in terms of quality to match us if you look at it on paper. But at the same time, I know we'll make it a lot more difficult than it has to be.
Yeah, it's true.
And considering the month that we're in and the amount of games we've got to play, that's not what you want. Because that's just asking for injuries.
You've got Zagreb at home.
Zagreb. So we've got Girona and Zagreb left after this. That's another 6 points. Really, I feel like the only player that I look at when it comes to Girona is Dovbyk, but
he left.
Oh, he left.
He's at Roma, I think.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, he's at Roma. They spelled his name wrong. But yeah, we'll probably make it through, but there's no chance we're winning the Champions League this year. Best we're getting is quarterfinals. Best at best.
I agree. I was saying this with Omar the other day. It was like,
Omar.
He was like, you think quarterfinals? I was like, it's Arsenal. But this is what you guys like in the Champions League. We saw what happened with Bayern last season. We saw what happened. Like, do you know what I've always got, yeah? You know when players like Erdegaard, I was thinking about this the other day. Erdegaard's a great player, yeah? And Saka's a great player. And Saliba and Gabriel are great players. But you know when you're within this team at this current moment in time, the test against Bayern Munich last season was the first time you actually come up against like an elite European test with this specific Arteta team. And they didn't look like they were ready for it. and nobody looked like they were going to rise to the occasion and take the game by the scruff of the neck. In the league, you guys can do that with Saka and Odegaard because they've shown it before. It's just in these big European games, who's actually going to be like, I'm the guy, let me score a goal for you real quick. Because Saka's done it for England as well, but can he do it in the Champions League? Can Odegaard do it in the Champions League? Because
I miss players like fucking Aaron Ramsey twatting it against Galatasaray after a corner. I'm missing players going to the new camp like El Neni and putting it top binsy. Why can't we have players like that in Arsenal? I miss players like that. I feel like every club misses players like that. I feel like every club needs a player that's just going to go, you know what, fuck it, and just hit it from 35 yards out.
long shots
Now
are
you've got players that want to play through defences. I mean, fair enough, it looks nice in the moment when it's just one-touch passes, but it's not sustainable. Because after a while, teams are going to kick on, and they're going to realise that's the only way you can beat teams. Just like teams are clicking onto the fact that we only score from set pieces. You saw how well Fulham defended. Yes, we scored from a set piece, but Fulham, for the majority of our corners, they were getting rid of them, no problem. Teams are starting to realise that's our only attacking threat, and it needs to change quickly.
Do you know what? Going back to what you just said there, I think long shots are a lost art. I think they're a lost art in the last 5 years of football. Because you know what?
I miss it.
It was a great game. That's an example. Yeah, you know when that 2-2 draw with City that you guys had. When City were chasing you, Ruben Diaz had about 50 shots and he was on the edge of the box because you guys were so camped in. They were so camped in your box, and their centre backs are pretty much midfielders at that point. But the only time they're hitting long shots is when they're passing it to the edge of the box. And that's the only kind of long shots. But again, at the edge of the box, that's not even really a long shot, really. And when you watch a football match, you're just watching teams pass it sideways. You're watching teams pass it sideways, get in the box, and you might get a shot from someone. Like when you're watching Arsenal, you might get a shot from Saka. That Duran goal that we saw today with against Leipzig, you don't get shots like that often. Like ever.
No, you don't.
We don't get that like ever. So it's actually just refreshing to see a long shot in general. In the 2010s and the 2000s when we were all growing up watching football, we saw that every game, no matter what game it was, no matter what fixture, and no matter what, like whether it's Championship, Lower League, Premier League, it didn't matter.
I mean, look at the amount of long shots we had in like the 12-13 season. I feel like a few that really stand out for me. Two of them from Gareth Bale, but the first one I'm going to talk about was Gerrard's one against Man City, where he chests it off the floor, hits it off his chest, and volleys it into the bottom left.
Yeah.
And then the other two that I'm going to mention, Gareth Bale against you at Upton Park, picks it up from Tom Carroll about 30 yards out, puts it top right. And then the same sort of goal where he cuts in against Sunderland, last game of that season, puts it top left. His last goal for Spurs. His last goal before he went to Madrid, That was... I remember watching that on Match of the Day and my jaw hitting the floor. I was like, oh my word. How... Even Mellon's just said Drogba against Everton. Fuck me.
Was it Jagielka against Liverpool?
Oh my! I feel like the last
against Chelsea.
I feel like Townsend against City.
Yeah, exactly. These are we don't see this. We don't
Gerrard
see this
week in, week out against Liverpool. Aston Villa and Middlesbrough. You in the FA Cup final.
Yep. You did that just to piss me off.
But
I was getting babysat, bruv. I was like,
listen. You just got to admire great football when you see it. Rooney against Newcastle was complaining about a foul that happened 2 minutes ago. 10 seconds later, he's hitting it in the top corner.
Yeah, he just smacks it. Bro, we don't see that anymore. Like now,
we don't.
You're seeing sideways football. You're seeing teams struggling to break defenses down, and no one's really got capable of hitting off a long shot. No one wants to, which is shit. Now we don't get any X factor anymore. You don't get ballers. You don't get long shots. You're getting systems. This is a pure system game. SEN against Arsenal as well. Yeah, that was one of the first ones I watched.
Skulls against Villa.
Yeah, exactly. These are long shots. Obiang against Tottenham.
Oh my god.
And Son against us in the same game. Like we both scored great goals.
Lanzini against Spurs.
Yeah, listen, it's just against Tottenham again.
Wanyama against Liverpool.
Oh, shout out to Kenyans.
Yeah.
we don't have players like that. Like it's always the most random players that can just hit a ball as well. It's always the midfielders that can randomly hit a ball.
Exactly.
Maybe 3 midfielders in modern day football that can hit a ball like that now. Notice how you're
I don't
struggling.
think-
Notice how you're
Yeah.
struggling. Exactly, that's football now.
If you asked me this question about 10, 15 years ago, I could round off like 5 players without even thinking about it.
I know what you're talking about, Melon. I've seen this compilation before. I'm not watching it stream just because it gets copyrighted. That's a mistake I made before. But I know exactly what compilation you're talking about because it's been.
We should probably watch it after we finish the stream on Friday.
Yeah. We'll watch it after Friday. Just once Melon's this time he'll be sober and we actually watch it. But speaking of Tottenham, bruv.
That was the only highlight of my Sunday afternoon. And it didn't even start well because they went 2-0 up.
They lost again to Chelsea. They lost 4-3, but 4-3 did not represent that game at all. They completely fucked it. And we're in the cycle again. We're in the 2-year cycle of when Tottenham are getting onto their manager. What did you see the game? Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck happened to Alfie? There you are.
We saw it against Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's true. They lost
Tottenham
against Bournemouth.
fans getting on at Postecoglou.
Yeah.
Calling him Postecoglou.
Yeah, Postecoglou.
The worst thing he could have said at the start of the season was, "I always win in my second season."
Oh,
those
that's
words
like
are cursed.
That's how the era's come to an end from Ten Hag. It's always that quote that lives with you. Like, he should never say that.
Do you know what makes it even worse? Have you seen that clip on social media of that Chelsea fan in the crowd just before Palmer takes his chip penalty? He's like, "Does anyone feel cold?"
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
That was cold, to be fair.
And furthermore, what did you watch the game?
Yeah.
What was going on with Cucurella in his boots? Because I still haven't got a clue.
I saw Troy Deeney talk about this. It's like he's been there before as a footballer where he's just like, when you're having a bad game, you got to make an excuse. You got to make an excuse to change. So maybe it was just, I don't know whether it was fucking stunts or whatever, bruv. But do you know what's even funny? Yeah? Do you know what's even funnier about that? You know when Tottenham were 2-0 up, everyone still thought they were going to lose.
It's Spursy, isn't it? It's Spursy. I don't get the idea behind rushing Van der Ven back.
Yeah. The pigeons are back, bruv. The pigeons are back. Also, speaking of long shots, that Sancho goal, yeah. Bruv. I told people.
United are pissed.
I told people it was Man United's fault.
United are pissed. They've got to deal with fucking Alejandro Garnacho, who'll be at fucking Elche in 2 years' time. And Jadon Sancho falling out in southwest London.
Exactly. As Mellon and Phineas have both said, 25 million for Sancho, Mount for 65 million. Sancho for Mounts. Bruv. You know how wild that is? Man United got Mason Mount and Chelsea.
Not only that, they made up bite the bullet to sign Raheem fucking Sterling on loan.
And they gave you Kai Havertz.
Yes. This fucking beanpole.
Bro, Sancho is getting his respect. He's finally at a place where he can enjoy his football. He scored 2 goals in a row. I didn't even know he had 7 assists before Mellon said in the Southampton game. I didn't even know that. And he's finally at a place where he can enjoy his football and people are seeing the fruits of his labour. Cole Palmer, he didn't, like, in the first half, you may not have seen him as much, but as soon as in the second half, he was making people dance, bro. He was making about 3 players dance for that Enzo Fernandez goal. Did you see that goal that Enzo Fernandez won? Yeah, you know the lead up when Palmer's like Van der Ven and Doggy, and I think it's Basuma now, all slipping and sliding, trying to tackle him.
I feel like Cole Palmer's one of them players. Yeah, fair enough. He'll have that 35, maybe 45-minute spell where you're not going to see much from him. Maybe a couple of good passes here and there. But then you'll have them two little moments where he'll just come alive and he'll
Mm.
take the game by the scruff of the neck. And depending on how serious Chelsea want to be this season, you need a player like that. You need a player. They've had players like that in the past. They've had players like that. They've had Drogba. They've had Hazard. They've had players like that that can play a bit shit for about 45, maybe 50 minutes, but have a player that when you need him to come alive, he does. When you need him to
Mm.
switch on, he's ready.
Yeah. And do you know what's funny as well? People always criticize Cole Palmer about big games, but at the same time, name me another player that has the cool calmness and collection to chip a penalty like that, to go through three players like that, to then produce another assist like accidentally and make a chance of it, but score two penalties like that against the same keeper is not an easy thing to do because the keeper thinks you have them, and then all of a sudden he pulls another trick out the book. Maybe another player that's that cool, calm, and collected.
I,
This guy's
I,
only been.
I don't think I can.
This is the thing. This guy's only been playing really first team football for about 2 years, really, because at Man City he was barely there.
The
At Man City
worst
he was
thing
barely playing.
Manchester City, that is the worst thing Manchester City could have done. Is
Yeah,
if I was in charge of Manchester City, I would have said, fine, you can go out on loan.
yeah. That's the thing. They didn't want him to go on loan. They said you're either staying as a first team player, squad player, or you're going.
I feel like in this current situation, if it pans out, like say if Cole Palmer goes out on loan instead of going to Chelsea, but he comes alive in the same way that he has done at Chelsea out on that loan spell. He comes
Mm.
back from that. He probably replaces Foden and what Foden's doing right now. Because let's face it, we've not really seen much from Foden.
Foden's been shite this season.
Exactly. I feel like if Man City didn't loan him out, we probably could have seen Cole Palmer playing at Man City in that team right now.
Mm. Oh, for sure,
But no,
definitely.
he's balling out at Chelsea.
Like, yeah. To be honest with you, like people could say, "Oh, but could he replicate what he did at Chelsea last season with another club?" Pochettino wasn't good with Chelsea, so he could have, yes, if he had the first team football, he could have done it with basically any team in the Premier League. Like Palmer, this is the thing with him, yeah. He's one of them footballers that I think can, like, I don't think many footballers now can play 10, 20 years ago, but Palmer can. Because
Yeah.
Palmer's suited actually more to the previous eras of football than he is for now, because it's so system based. He's a footballer that has fun with it. He's a pure footballer. It's the same with Sancho as well. These are pure footballers. This guy is ridiculous. Like, I don't do the whole world class thing.
These players play like they're kicking it about with their pals in the park.
Yeah.
And that's another dying art. You don't see enough of that anymore.
Mm.
Because players nowadays are taught when they come into the first team and they come out of that academy lifestyle, they're taught to play in a system. They're not taught to be free players and to do their own thing and create their own magic. They're taught to play a certain way. And let's face it, I'm probably making a wild comparison here, but do you remember the advert from the 2014 World Cup last game?
Yeah.
It kind of feels like we're going down that path
Mm.
of players just playing in the system, seeing the constant boring dross every week
Yeah.
instead of seeing magic.
That's facts. We've been going there for a few years now, though. We've been going there for
But
at least
if
5 or
you
6
think
years.
about it, the way we're going in 20 years' time, people who used to like maybe what heading towards GCSE time now ain't going to have any players in 20 years' time to sit there and go, oh, they were players the streets won't forget.
Then there's not going to be any streets won't forget players apart from the mid-table legends we have now. Like apart from the
Exactly.
mid-table guys like Chris Wood and then Boomer, Weezer, and all these players. But if we're talking about the players that we grew up on, like the Hazards and the Cazorlas, these natural footballers that we had, that we used to see, the David Silvers of the world.
Yeah.
Like we don't have many of these apart
No.
from like someone like Palmer. I'm not even saying like Palmer. Like Palmer is one of the best players in the league. You could debatably say he's the best performing player of the league this season, maybe with Salah, as Phineas has said. But it's even just the fact of he's a pure footballer in itself. He's the most pure. He's the most pure out of any of them. And to be honest with you, Maresca doesn't really have a robotic system. he is just like he has a structure, but he allows his attackers to be free. That's probably why Sancho and Palmer are playing so well.
It feels like with Maresca, it feels like the way he's letting the players play, it's kind of like he's saying to them, do what you want out there, do whatever you can. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, you know what to do because
Hmm.
we trained on the training ground. Yes, he's allowed them their own individuality, but I'm sure they've done defensive drills so they know what to do in case they lose the ball. But when it comes to playing attacking football, they're allowing them to play with fluidity. You see how well they play on the pitch. You see how like the game flows so much better.
Hmm. And do you know what? Speaking of Maresca, do you think they're in a title race, or do you think you need to? Do you think they need to be there in like a couple of months around these same point tallies for them to be in a proper title race, or is it too early?
I mean, we could easily say that. We could easily say that we're old because we've heard people say it before. Oh, you don't really know if you're in the title race until you get to February. I already know we're out of it. Bye bye, finito. The most we're getting top four in a trophy. I feel like with Chelsea, that is definitely the case. If they're still around that area, around February, March, they're in a title race.
Mm,
And
I
fair
agree.
play to them. And fair play to Maresca as well to come in and change that team that looks lower than mediocre under Pochettino. And yes, they were finally kicking into gear with the last couple of games, but
Hmm.
they needed that manager change deep down. I think now that I think about it, we all know it. And he's already got that Chelsea team on song. They know what they're doing. They know how to attack. They know how to create goals. They know how to put the ball in the back of the net. He's making Nicholas Jackson look decent, which compared to last season is a massive far cry. And they look really, really good this season. So if they're still around that top two stage around February, March, they're in a title race.
I feel like going to what Melon said here about following the same principles as Pep City. I feel like it's the Pep City of Sane, Sterling, Aguero for me because of the way they play fullbacks, the way they play their midfielders. It feels because they were a lot more free. Like Pep system is a lot more rigid after he sold Sane because there was a lot less pace in the team. I
Yeah.
feel like when they had Sane, Sterling, and Aguero, their ability to go 1v1 from 2017 to 2019
I mean,
City.
wasn't that the front three that got them the Centurions?
Yeah, Centurions,
Exactly.
and then the
Exactly.
season that just edged Liverpool after
Exactly.
that. That's the City it reminds me of with the way he plays. Because there's a lot more free wingers 1v1, like striker in the box, midfielders dominating. By the way, Enzo Fernandez has just proved that marriage is overrated because ever since this man got divorced, fucking hell, man. What did I
Back to
say?
this again, are we?
You all laughed at me. You all laughed at me. No, I'm joking.
What I have to say is, you're not laughing now, are you?
But listen, you got to refresh your personal life. As I said last Monday, refresh your personal life. This is what you get. This is what you get. It can't help players like Rashford, but it can help players like Enzo Fernandez. I was about to say Bruno Fernandez. Jesus Christ, not him. Uh, no, you never seen Haaland link up like Jackson, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's more like an Aguero mold and like if Aguero ran down the wings a lot more, sort of thing in terms of the way it's structured. Racist Shagger captain, Chelsea DNA restored. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. But speaking of Rashford, another team that lost on the weekend. Oh boy. Amarim job era.
I'm hearing people calling Ruben interim now.
Ruben interim is crazy, yeah. Scammerim, interim, banterim, Amarim job, I'm a retard.
Whoa.
That's the one I made. That's the one I just come up with. But the thing is, we are like the definition of we are so back is seeing Man United lose at home to a mid-table team.
And just to be clear, we're not putting any disrespect on Nottingham Forest's name because they look like a good team this year.
Oh yeah, of course, of
They have
course.
been brilliant this year. Nuno Espirito Santo has got them playing really, really well.
Yeah, facts. And
And they've been a solid unit. And fair play to them for going to Old Trafford. Yes, it's Old Trafford, and everyone's picking up 3 points there at the moment, as it looks like. But fair play to them. You got to win at these places to show you're serious.
Like this is my thing with Man United. Yeah. Well, how many times have we said this? Where the manager isn't going to save everyone. Garnacho, Højlund, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, bruv. Need I say any more?
Even more than that, I've got to say. Even more than that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Anthony's
Bro.
got to go. Maguire, fucking Lindelof, Johnny Evans,
Luke Shaw's got to go now.
Luke Shaw, Christian Eriksen,
Bro.
Casemiro.
Casemiro's playing quite well compared to the
I
rest.
mean, yeah, but
for the future, he should go. But you know what I
yeah.
mean. Like the reason why I named those four specifically is those four are the most hyped. Højlund is the guy who constantly gets defended because he's young. Garnacho is the guy who constantly gets defended because people think he's going to be a superstar.
How long's Højlund going to be waiting on this miracle to come, may I ask?
10 years, because that's what it usually takes for Man United players. Rashford's
big up to Sean Millis.
Yeah, no one's even mentioned his fucking name for a year now. Like this guy,
yeah,
I wonder
exactly.
what he's doing now. I wonder what he's doing
now. He's done a couple of shows. Fair play to him, but
done a couple of shows.
Who? Well, the actual guy, not the.
Yeah.
Not Højlund.
Yeah. Well, has he done a couple of shows? Like,
yeah, he's done a couple of backup shows for a few people, so he's getting his money up. Fair play to the geezer.
He needs to release another song, man.
He needs to be fucking Rasmus Højlund's learning mentor.
What we're saying is Rasmus Højlund needs a teaching assistant.
Exactly.
Like that guy had 3 TAs minimum.
You know them special. You know the special kids in school how would always have like separate teachers that would take care of them during the lesson. That's what Rasmus Højlund needs right now.
Bruv.
He just needs a teaching assistant to help him with his spectrums.
This is the thing. Like sometimes the spectrum benefits you, like an Elise, or like.
Well, it doesn't benefit Andre Onana. Definitely not.
Oh Jesus Christ!
This brother, how I can't remember who took the shot, but how are you letting the ball go one way and you're going the other as a goalkeeper? How?
Opposite though, isn't it?
What the opposite year for Manchester United, and that's every fucking year.
Bro, the spectrum benefits some players. Like Messi is on the spectrum. Elise is on the spectrum. But like these players like Garnacho, who look like he just bites people. Højlund, bruv, this guy scored a tap in and sell him. This is what the mentality is, by the way. You know when Man United used to go 1-0 down against teams they weren't meant to be and they equalise, they're grabbing the ball straight away, we go back. They're generally like, look at me, I'm celebrating now, sort of thing. When they just equalise at home against a team they're meant to beat. Because they're so used to it.
He celebrates like he's kicking about a balloon in his living room.
Yeah, he does. But
like we all used to do when we were 6.
Yeah. He used to think we were sick. He still thinks it.
Exactly.
He still thinks he's that kid.
He's not that guy anymore, man.
But how many times are these attackers going to stink? You've got the manager now. There is no fucking excuse for you to not stink. You've got a good manager. Like, yes, Amorim could have not lined up with them 3 up front, yeah. But come on, you've got a decent manager now. There's no Ten Hag there. There's no like shit manager there for me to say, but it's the manager now. You've got a decent manager. You're now the problem. Amorim needs his players desperately. Otherwise, this guy's going to finish about 12th. He'll be lucky to finish 10th. They'll be lucky to finish 10th. In this league right now, they're on the same form as everyone else around them. They are 1 point ahead of us, and we're shit. We are dog shit, and they're 1 point ahead of us. You'll be lucky to finish 10th. Imagine Ruud van Nistelrooy finishes above them.
That'd just piss off United fans even more. And you'll have United fans sat there if Ruud van Nistelrooy finishes above them with Leicester. You'll have United fans sitting there going, "Oh, but we should have taken Ruud on permanently." Yeah, exactly. Well, why didn't you then?
But that's the thing; they shouldn't have. Because why does this always happen when an interim like goes on a run and they get the interim and it turns out to be shit because they're a former player
Exactly.
like Solskjaer. Even though Van Nistelrooy is way more qualified than Solskjaer, it doesn't matter. They would only want to hire him because he's a former player rather than his actual credentials. They're
Exactly.
going for the emotional aspect. It's like hiring. It's like us getting Noble as interim. Yeah, he goes on a game run and we actually hire him as the actual manager. Like we're just hiring him for the sake of sentiment. Like that is it.
Can you imagine if we hired Freddie Ljungberg permanently?
Every time I think of Yumbug, I think of the meme where he just touches the grass and walks back off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing about. And you guys still beat us on fucking Yumberg. We had Pellegrini. It was that shit. You lost to fucking Freddie Yumberg. But speaking of Man United, of course, obviously as you mentioned earlier, Rashford.
Yeah.
They're open to selling Rashford. Is it too late? Is it too late to sell someone with stocks?
I feel like at the end of the day, even if they are going to try and sell him, I feel like there's only a finite amount of places where he can actually go. Because how much are we looking at in terms of his weekly wages?
Oh, I have no idea. Let me check. But where would he even go?
If he's a real Manchester United fan, he'll know that in his heart of hearts, as a real United fan, I'm not making the club better. I'm bringing the club down. I need to go.
Mm-hmm. But he ain't thinking that.
He's thinking about the fat bags he's going to be getting a weekly.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for his wages. But everyone is always there to feel like he's destined to go like PSG or some shit.
Exactly. And that's actually one of the teams that I'll probably say. If we're looking at the amount of wages that Marcus Rashford's on, if it's upwards of 200k a week, the only team that's going to be willing to pay that in Europe is probably PSG because they chuck money about silly.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, he's probably fucking off to Saudi.
Oh, he needs to learn Arabic desperately, man. He should have learned Arabic as soon as he broke through.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was revising Arabic while sat next to Nordin Amrabat.
Apparently, he's on 350k a week.
Fucking hell. Exactly. Either Saudi or Paris.
Yeah, because them Qataris, boy, that's nothing to them. But this is what I've always thought, like if Ineos are serious, if they're generally a decent ownership, you'd be ruthless with these players.
And hasn't Dan Ashworth fucked off?
Yeah, they fucked off Dan Ashworth as well because he wanted Southgate. He didn't want Amorim, he wanted Southgate because Southgate's his friend. He worked in the FA when Southgate was there.
All friends.
So if Dan Ashworth stayed at Newcastle and Eddie Howe got sacked, they would have had Southgate. Bruv. He just got kicked off, so don't hire by the way, you guys need a director of football.
No. I do not want to see that man anywhere near my club.
You need a director of football.
I don't fucking care. Oh, what, Dan Ashworth?
Yeah.
I ain't taking fucking Southgate. I ain't taking fucking Southgate. You can piss off. You can piss off.
We were so close to having with Man United having him, man. So close.
We'd be better off having fucking Arthur Okonkwo as our director of football than Gareth Southgate, and he's only just started his professional career.
Oh, wasn't that the fucking keeper for you lot that fucked up in that pre-season game?
He's also at Wrexham now, yeah.
He's at Wrexham. What the fuck?
Big up Ryan Reynolds.
Man said the Ben Foster replacement is Okonkwo.
He'll be doing a YouTube channel in a few years' time. The Drifting GK.
The Drifting GK. You're taking the piss. Like, imagine Ashworth. Think about it, yeah. Think about the vision, Alfie. Dan Ashworth goes to Arsenal. Arteta drops out of the top 4. He gets sacked. And you get Gareth Southgate. Think about the vision. You guys want to get cup finals?
Yeah, we didn't mean the Johnston's Paint Trophy. Keep Gareth Southgate away from club football because the last time he took charge of a Premier League club, they got relegated. Middlesbrough, 2009.
Yep. Bro, how did he get an England job? How did he get an England job in the first place, man?
Because he's a yes man that will do everything that the FA tells him to do. Because those are the only people that the FA hire. Yes men. Which is why I'm hoping to high heaven that Thomas Tuchel is not a yes man. And he will do things that every person can see need to be done with that team.
You live and you learn. You live and you learn. Hopefully. But Man United is a normal day at the office for them. They've got some.
Yeah.
They've got Victoria Pleasant on fucking Thursday. We'll see how they do that. They'll probably lose.
Is that away?
Yeah, away. So they'll probably lose. But they just about beat Bodo Glimt. They lost to Arsenal and Forest in the same week.
It's not really been convincing from Amorim so far, has it?
No, they've only won
But
against
then again, what were we expecting? We're not expecting this man to hit the ground running straight away.
No, we're not.
That's the problem with certain Manchester United fans. Whenever a new manager comes in, they're expecting a quick fix straight away. They think new manager, we're back in the title race, we're back to winning trophies like back in the good old days. It doesn't work like that. You need to get a lot of players out and a lot of players in for anything to start changing with that team.
Yep, it's facts.
If you don't think like that, and if you don't set up your mind that way, it's just going to be rinse and repeat for the end of time, and we're never going to see the Manchester United of old ever again.
Well, there you go. I'm trying to think. Who did Liverpool play on the weekend? Oh no, Liverpool's game got postponed.
They got postponed. Hey, do you know what? I felt bad for that Australian Everton fan that travelled all that way to Merseyside to watch the derby, only for it to get postponed. But luckily for him, he got invited to meet all the Everton players.
Yeah, because Seamus Coleman's a good guy. Coleman's a good guy. But that's the happiest Everton fan ever. Like, he got to meet all the players. But if he was actually a Scouser, he'd be just as depressed as the rest of them. Like how I am with my club. Because my manager's still here. Fam, that's the most depressing win of my life. It's the most depressing win. Both managers stayed.
First things first, before you go into anything, I do just want to say all prayers and thoughts to Mikel Antonio and his family. Horrible thing to go through. And honestly, it could have been a lot worse for this guy, man. Like we could be sat here. We've lost another Premier League footballer because he's died in a car crash. Like, thank God he's doing okay, and the least he's going to be getting is a year out. Hopefully, it doesn't stop him from playing because I feel like he's a great character to have in the league. Like, who else are you going to get fucking celebrating with cardboard cutouts of themselves?
No one.
That's like unique. That's unique to Mikel Antonio. We need that sort of character in the league, and honestly, all thoughts and prayers to him, man. Like, this is a time when there are things that are way bigger than football. I mean, fair enough, I don't support West Ham, but I don't want to see the man dead. Like, come on now.
No one does. Yeah, no one does.
Exactly.
Like, it's good to see he's like talking. He talked to the players before the game. That's what Souček said in the interview. So
yeah,
just get well soon, bruv. Get well soon, because we don't wish anything upon anyone like that, bruv.
It got fucking spicy at the end of the Euro game as well between Bowen and who was it? Lamina. Did you stick around for that, or were you already headed down the steps?
Oh no, we noticed it. We didn't see what caused it until we got home, but we noticed it. And the guy was I was like, the weirdest part about that, by the way, he went to fight his own coach. He went to go and fight Sean Derry afterward. He was fighting Totti. He was trying to fight, and Taniba was trying to calm him down for about 5 minutes.
Fucking hell, Sean Derry, didn't he used to play for QPR?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that name.
He's in the coaching staff. He was in the coaching staff for Palace for a bit.
Who was he in the coaching staff with Wolves?
Yeah, Gary O'Neill.
Well, that makes sense because Gary O'Neill played at QPR as well.
I forgot about that. I forgot he played at Gary. I forgot he played for QPR. Did he actually play for QPR?
I think he was there in the season when Harry Redknapp brought him back up when Zamora scored the winner in the playoff final. I think he was there that season. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember him going to Norwich after. I'm gonna look it up because I don't remember this. Yeah, he was. Yeah, so he wants to keep
See,
you up.
that's why I've got below my name elite ball knowledge. Get to know
You've had that on since the fucking drafts.
exactly.
But with Gary O'Neill, speaking of Gary O'Neill, he's kept his job. He was one game away from getting sacked. But my assumption is the fact that they've gone to candidates and they're like, "Nah, fuck off." You know why? Yeah, because
Yeah,
they were
let's be
favourite.
real. Who's taking that Wolves job right now?
Do you know why? Because sorry, speaking of Wolves, Deck, I'm so sorry. Deck, I'm so sorry. Deck's a Wolves fan, yeah. Deck, you've been suffering, bro. The thing is, I saw the other day, Deck, Graham Potter favourites to take the job. I assume, yeah, that because Graham Potter's rejected Ajax and Leicester, that he's rejected Wolves as well. And they're like, they were going to go for Potter. Then they're like, nah, fuck that. And they don't want, no one wants to touch Steve Cooper anymore.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon they'll ever end up with West Ham if you guys end up getting round to sacking Bin Loppy?
What, Potter?
Would you have him at West Ham?
Yeah, I'd have him. I'd have Potter for all the options out there. Because we only hire managers out of work. They don't want to pay compensation. So I'd take Potter. Yeah. David
No
Sullivan
offense.
for you. No, David Sullivan for you. It's David Sullivan. I told you pre-season when we was in Spain, that defense was shocking. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And it makes it worse that you went to a back four and you played Nelson Semedo at right centre back as well. That you were desperate that much that you benched Craig Dawson for Nelson Semedo at right centre back because obviously Craig Dawson scored a brace for Everton in midweek because he scored 2 own goals, which is ridiculous in itself. So there you are. But yeah, that whole Lamina thing was funny because he only threw Bowen to the ground because he got thrown to the ground. So it's like, okay, you're coming on the ground with me then. And by the way, all of this started because he refused to shake Bowen's hand.
Funnily enough, don't ask me why, because my mum ain't got a dicky bird about football, but I was actually speaking about this to my mum. Now, my mum's a massive fan of EastEnders, and who used to be in EastEnders? Danny Dyer. And who does Danny Dyer's daughter go out with? Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
I turned around to my mum and said, Jared Bowen's been hanging about Danny Dyer a bit too much if he's picking up that sort of temper.
Yeah. Legit, but like...
But I like seeing that in players. I like seeing a player go, what, you want to have it?
Oh, yeah, you might as well.
It's another semi-dying breed, but luckily enough, there's a couple of players still in the league that are bringing it back.
Lamina showed more fight off the pitch than any of the Wolves players did on the pitch. Because why are you more passionate now? The game's done. You didn't play. They didn't play for the. By the way, the fact that they've kept Gary O'Neill as a disgrace. Because I was at the game, I can see this year. They had so many chances where they actually could have finished them and
That one chance where they whipped the ball in, it's missed Strand Larson and it's gone to the far post and they put it wide.
Yeah, bro,
that's the chance you've got to be taking. You look at the position your club is in, and you've got to be taking them chances.
They weren't even trying. They're not playing for him. They're not playing.
They want him gone.
They want him gone. And listen, I obviously the board is the issue for them, but Gary O'Neill, I feel like going forward, like, apart from the defense, there's more to get out of the attackers and midfielders that Wolves have. But these players aren't playing for him. Like, and I've never thought Gary O'Neill was ready for another Premier League job anyway. But he's not gonna take a championship job now. They'll look at him and be like, he'll get more jobs because he's young and English. Like, that's why people like him, because he's young and English, and that is it. That is it. Like, there's certain West Ham fans that would take him at West Ham and would rather kill myself than take Gary O'Neill at West Ham.
It's the English tax. That's the only reason that makes him attractive. It's the English tax.
People don't take that into account enough with managers as well. There's so much English tax when it comes to managers. What's good about them? He's young and English. Trust him. For what, bruv? For what? Like, Wolves are fuck themselves so much when it comes to the way they run. And this might be the year they're gone. But this has been coming for a bit. Just because of the way they underinvest with transfer windows as well. But there was no El Sakiko because we won the game and their manager didn't get sacked, so it was not really worth anything.
You turned into prime Barca again.
Yep. How many times do I say this? Bro?
And you had 2 more reasons to turn. You had two more reasons to fucking turn up. One, to keep your manager in a job, and two, because of what's happened to Mikez.
They didn't even play like they turned up for Mikel Antonio anyway. So I'm not buying into that. They should have, but they didn't. I mean, I can see us having a Derby County point score. How it's going, no way is that squad as bad as that Derby County team. That says it all. I think Southampton are more likely to have that than you are, but I don't think any of them. I don't think anyone's going to beat that Derby County team. Like they were just that bad.
I feel like with Southampton, I'm definitely seeing Derby vibes, but with
Yeah,
the way Wolves are going at the moment, I'm seeing sort of, the Sunderland team that broke their own record back to back before Derby broke the record for lowest points.
yeah.
We're seeing that sort of vibe, a team that gets like 19, 18 points a season.
Mm. I'm kind of seeing the vibe of this Wolves team, the last Southampton team that went down, but before they got Nathan Jones. It's like this Southampton team if they kept Hasenhüttl sort of thing. Like
They're
it's just one of
all,
them teams that was there for one point, then fell off.
I feel like at this point, Southampton are already planning their trips to fucking Blackburn Rovers and Plymouth Argyle next season if they're still in the Championship, which is not looking likely as long as Wayne Rooney's got a job.
They'll get relegated as well. Plymouth.
Well, they'll probably play Leeds next season because there's no way Leeds are going to go up. They bottle it every year.
Nah, Leeds have to win the Championship this season. There's no one there else that can challenge them apart from Sheffield United.
I'm not seeing them win it. We're going to be sat here in May, and all you're going to see from social media is fans taking the piss out of Leeds. You know the song, Leeds will tear you falling apart again. Yeah,
but they have to win it. If they don't win it, it's even more of a
because I
bottle
mean, you look at the last time they got relegated from the Premier League. How long did they wait to come back up again?
Yeah, like 20 years.
This is their second season back in the Championship after being relegated from the Premier League. Please don't let us see it again. They need to fix up quickly, but
they'll get promoted. I think they just beat Middlesbrough. They'll get promoted. Like it'll be Sunderland that falls out. It'll be Leeds and fucking Sheffield United again. I can't be asked to see Sheffield United back in the Prem. I can't be asked. No, Chris Wilder.
It's such a poor team to watch in the Premier League.
Boring, Chris Wilder, man. So boring. But it is what it is. But listen, I'm gonna end it there. There's a lot we could get into another time as well. But people, Alfie will be back Friday with Melon. We'll have that as underway as well. I don't know what video I'm gonna have tomorrow, but we'll be live on Thursday as well with Prime as well. So there'll be that. So we'll pretty much have as many streams as possible. I'm on Lewis's channel at 6 tomorrow with Northside as well for the London show. And yeah, listen, people, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Social media's over in the description if you want to follow me, the email for the inquiries. Alfie's link is in the title, people. There's match previews out 7 minutes ago for the Arsenal Monaco match preview. So go and check that out as well. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.